Even as the plows go by, they clear the road and then more snow gets blown right onto it. And that's on top of the ice that's sitting there as well. If we look at the light here, this is in Fargo, University and I-94. You can see that there's still some blowing snow illuminated in the light. Our visibility has improved a little bit though this morning. And then you can see on the road surface too, even on the interstate, there's some patches of snow and ice, especially on those on and off ramps here as we are going about our morning. That's going to be a continuing problem. So our travel today, red lights for you here this morning, meaning not advising travel. Of course, we know there's a lot of roads that are closed and travel advisories out there here, and it's going to be the morning hours where we have the toughest winds. As we make our way into the afternoon, still want to use some caution, but the wind gusts will be coming down a little bit. We'll be starting to see some improvement in the blowing and drifting snow factor here for the afternoon, and of course the visibility as well. But by and large, all day long, travel is going to be hazardous, with the worst of it from this point on this morning. So here's a look at our wind speeds. They are out of the north or northwest. We're looking at steady winds or sustained winds in the white numbers here in the 20s and 30s. So that's just the constant wind essentially going on. And then we've got gusts into the 30s and 40s. We have had some 50s, but right now I'm not seeing any on the map. That's good. We don't want that, and we want those numbers to keep coming down, and that will be happening gradually. But right now, still some blizzard conditions out there with those winds gusting 35 plus miles per hour. Here's a look at our visibility reports. We're down to a half mile in Oaks. We're at a half mile in Crookston here. Fargo's at 1 mile. That's improving here this morning. Grand Forks at 1.5 miles. So Southern Valley and Eastern Valley, really the area of greatest impact. But look at all these 10s showing up around Devil's Lake, back over to Jamestown. That's 10 miles. That's the most that can be reported. And so we're doing really well, or a lot better in those places. Still have icy and snowy roads, but visibility has greatly improved in those spots. And that's also, of course, where we have the coldest temperatures. We're at 2 below in Devil's Lake, Rolla, Langdon, 4 below 0 right now. It's 3 above in Fargo and Grand Forks. So temperatures have really dropped. We're in that range where, you know, those chemicals aren't going to work great on those road surfaces here with all that ice out there. So keep that in mind. And wind chills down into the 20s, below 0 to about 30 below. So getting in that dangerous range for wind chills as well. So here's a look at your radar and satellite map. Again, the snow is ending, so we're dealing with the ground blizzard, the blowing and drifting, what's left, the fallout from that snow that fell. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough. We know that here. Of course, those who have had trouble on the roads know that especially well this morning. And that's going to continue moving on to the east. You can see Great Lakes area, really the focus now for the precipitation with this event, though again, we're still dealing with the wind. So the wind coming in out of the northwest here on your hour-by-hour planner will continue to gust 30s, 40s through the morning. Temperatures, again, white numbers here. The pink numbers are your wind chills, so we want to focus on that too, because that's going to be a factor throughout the morning. But as we make our way into mid-morning, this is 9 a.m., a lot of the clouds have cleared out. We'll actually get some sunshine, though visibility going to be still low in spots where we've got those drifts blowing around with that wind. So visibility is going to be on the tough side. So this continues all the way into the noon hour. We're looking at winds still gusting into the 30s at that point. Temperatures that will be staying in the single digits to some teens, maybe coming up a little with some sun, but with all that fresh snow in place, it's just going to be hard to warm up, and that strong wind blowing into keeping us on the cold side. The wind chills will improve somewhat heading into the afternoon, given those wind speeds will be coming down. Heading into tonight, cold air is taking over, of course, so that means as the sun sets, we're looking at temperatures dropping below 0 heading into the late night hours. So cold air in place of this system. So talking about wind gusts, this gives you an idea. This is for Fargo, but in general, this tells what the story for the valley as well. Through the morning, we still have that potential, especially in the next hour or two, to top 50 miles per hour, but we're already seeing that coming down. So that's a promising sign. But even into noon, we're still gusting 30 plus miles per hour. So still dealing with potential blizzard conditions out in open country. But by the afternoon, we're coming down into those 20s. So improvement happening gradually today. Heading into the rest of the week, we've got a cold day tomorrow, and then turning things around on Friday with a south wind. And it's again, perfect timing for the weekend. Our weekends in February so far have been great, but we have this kind of big blip leading up to that here today.
It's just making it through the week. That's the problem, everyone.
Sure is.
Yeah, so stay safe out there. And if you can stay home today, always a good idea, especially in the morning hours.
Okay.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yep. Up next, family members worried about a missing Grand Forks man who hasn't been heard from for over a week.
And a downtown neighborhood shut down after part of a building collapses. Keep it right here. You're watching The Valley Today.
Several streets in downtown Mankato, Minnesota are now shut down because of a partial roof collapse. Structural engineers are coming in to inspect the 100-year-old landmark building and to take steps to secure it.
That building was set to undergo a $12 million renovation. No one was hurt. No nearby buildings are impacted. Police are asking for your help in tracking down a Grand Forks man who hasn't been in contact with family or friends for about a week now. Steve Crary was last seen in Grand Forks a week ago. His debit card was last used in Halstead, Minnesota last Friday.
Crary was last seen driving a silver 2013 GMC Sierra pickup with Minnesota plates. You see it there on your screen, EXK 617. His family says they're concerned about his well-being. Call police if you have any information on Steve Crary. A Minnesota community mourning the loss of a popular coach. Jim McKeon of Bemidji died after collapsing in an ice house while fishing with his son and friend on Mantrap Lake near Nevis.
Friends describe McKeon as a great father, a husband, coach, and a role model. They say his positive impact stretched beyond the football field at the high school.
What he gave to the community, hopefully it's a small percentage of us giving back to him. And I know that can't bring him back, but it does signify that while he was with us, he had a significant impact on all of us.
He leaves behind his wife and 2 children.
Veterans and community members joined together yesterday to honor a Marine being laid to rest.
72-year-old Pedro Hernandez died earlier this month at Eventide in Moorhead, but didn't have family members in town for his memorial. The graveside service with military honors was held at the Fargo National Cemetery. New information this morning about the 2 men arrested in Michigan last week, all in connection with an attempted robbery in South Fargo. The 2 men had recently been released from prison after serving time for smash and grab robberies across the country.
Police allege the suspects are part of a group of more than a dozen people from the Detroit area who were charged in 2014 for about 40 different robberies in 9 different states. Last Wednesday, the 2 showed up outside of Gunderson's jewelry store with a handgun. However, the security guard locked the door before they could get inside. The men then took off. They were later arrested in Michigan. Just ahead on the valley today, a dump truck takes a wrong turn into someone's home and almost hits a child.
Plus, the sky-high cost of shooting down those unidentified objects flying the skies over North America. We'll have those stories right after the break.